Science fiction, but a paralysed man from Arizona has had a microchip implanted in his brain that allows him to control a computer with his thoughts. Noland Arbor was injured in a diving accident, but now, after years of being totally dependent on others, Noland says his life is transformed.
Welcome back, everyone. We've all seen movies like The Matrix, which show characters who can blur the line between man and machine. In our current reality, some are on the same journey, putting technology inside of their bodies with microchips. But how high are the risks, and what are the rewards? And what could this mean for our collective future?
In an instant, Nolan's life changed, and the most basic tasks were not doable.
You just have sort of no control, no privacy, and it's hard. And you just have to learn that you have to rely on other people for everything.
But 8 years on, Noland became the first person to get this brain device from Neuralink, a US neurotechnology firm whose founder is Elon Musk.
I just imagine the sensation or what it might look like to wiggle my fingers, something along those lines, and I could get the cursor to move. Now I could actually control my computer with just my thoughts.
A handful of other companies have also developed and implanted similar chips. So how do these brain chips work?
The device is sitting in the motor region of the brain. It's picking up when someone's thinking about tapping their fingers. It can create what we call a digital motor output. And that's what's being used with a computer directly to click on things.
Back in Arizona, Noland hopes his brain power means a fulfilling future.
When you guys come together every year, what is the big wish list item that you all hope to one day make?
The thing everyone wants is Neuralink. It's frustrating because it's out there, but we don't know how it's built. So if Elon was willing to open source all of his stuff like we do, that'd be great. It works on the premise that your brain's electrical signals can interface with a computer's electrical signals. That is the dream. That is the Johnny Mnemonic, everyone's favorite movie in biohacking.
Upload begins when you press here.
Or uploading information like in The Matrix.
What was it? I know Kung Fu.
There's definitely potential.
In real life transhuman hacker himself, Len No joins us. Len,
thank you for having me.
I've got a quick question to just kick things off. Why?
Well, that is that's usually the big question. It actually started with the concept of why not? So, to be honest, this was more of a progression. You don't live a pretty normal, vanilla life and then just wake up one morning and say, wow, today's the day I'm going to start shoving microchips in my arms.
Yeah.
So, for me, it was more of a progression. I started with tattoos, got into standard body modifications, piercings.
Standard
augmentation.
I've got a tattoo. Does that mean I'm going to get chipped up?
Well, that depends. You know, if you're fortunate enough to get it, you never know.
Oh my! What can you run us through your setup? Is that
What are the specs?
Yeah, what implants do you
I'm
have?
one of the few people that actually comes with my own hardware list. So this would actually be the largest one.
Whoa! That looks like a Jat's cracker. Is that right?
It does. What is it?
This is an NFC and RFID implant, so this allows me to actually interface to the same technologies on your cell phones that you use to tap to pay with. I can also use it to get into physical restrictions like your badging system in this beautiful building. I could skim one of your cards, write it down to one of my implants, and just walk up and open the door.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
But when you say that, right, so if you skin the card, then how are you entering that
Well, I need
information?
an additional tool, but most of the time I can get away with just...
When you say additional tool, you mean a computer?
No, most of the time I need my cell phone.
Oh.
I can actually program these on the fly.
Sorry, so what you're saying is you can walk into a secure building, like say this one, and just find your way in.
Yep.
With your cell phone and your
I wouldn't bring the cell phone with me.
You just do that just by...
I would skim the card, like hypothetically, you have amazing staff here that are just lovely people, but I've watched them sit there and badge in. If I was able to skim one of those cards, I would leave this building, write it down to one of the implants, leave all my cell phones, all my electronics outside, and I would basically walk into your building.
Okay.
If I was caught, the fact that these are inside my body actually gives me protection under medical privacy laws to the point where the authorities can't even ask me about them.
Oh, we need to change those laws. Okay, but hang on.